Over time, you'll want to change the imagery that appears on your slider. Now we're looking at the state site, but the slider is placed in exactly the same place on every chapter page, and the editing process is exactly the same. You will just do this editing from your chapter page. So let's have a look at the dashboard for where we would edit the slide deck, which is what the sliding image feature is called, how you might add images to it, delete images from it, etc. So let's pop over and take a look at the dashboard. And you'll note that the option to change these sliders is found under Slide Deck 2. So if I hover on that option, you'll notice that I see Manage. Now we only actually have one slider per website at this point, so only one of these sliding images or rotating image galleries. Now we do have other kinds of image galleries that are managed through the Next Gen Gallery, but this is the more dynamic, changing, rotating kind of a feature that you'll find on each website's homepage. Now if I go into Slide Deck 2, you'll note that I can actually create a new slide deck. So if you need one elsewhere on your website, you do have the ability and the feature here to do that anywhere you'd like. So you can actually do it from what's called a dynamic source. So you could do a Facebook feed, a YouTube channel, Instagram account. There's all kinds of things that you can do to add a sliding image gallery with dynamic content in it. We won't cover those since we haven't actually used that anywhere on the Virginia Native Plant Society network, but the feature exists and is there for you should you want it. Or I could create a custom content, which is the more typical kind of slide deck image gallery, and this is where you would add a sliding image gallery. For now, let's just take a look at how we would edit the homepage gallery, since that's what you're going to need to do most of the time. So for each chapter page, you're going to find under Slide Deck 2 one sliding feature, and that's called Homepage. And if I click on that, it will actually open it up and allow me to modify it. Now, the most critical thing about working with these sliders is having images that are sufficiently large to scale down and look well within the gallery slider. If you try to use an image that's very small, the slider will try to expand the image out to a larger size, and you're going to get a very pixelated, low quality type of an image. So you definitely want to go with very large, very high quality images on these sliders. And the ones that we've used specifically on the state site are very high quality, and they were provided by a photographer that works with you who does absolutely beautiful work. So we've actually utilized those images, and they're very custom and very designed for the Virginia Native Plant Society. Now, the slide dimension is going to be 1140 by 400. And note, if you forget that size, just note that you can actually take a look here under the sliding image, and you'll see the size that it needs to be, 1140 by 400. So that's there as a little bit of a cheat sheet for you. Now, we currently have actually 6 slides, but I added a 7th one just as a sample for your website, and that's this slide 7. Now, first of all, I added that initially so I can show you how easy it is to delete a slide. We don't actually want to use this. It's not an image that we want to have on the site, or perhaps we now want to refresh the imagery and get rid of old ones. All I need to do is simply hover on the slide, click the X to delete it. You'll get a prompt, are you sure you want to delete the slide? Say OK. And the slide will be removed from your slideshow. Now, have a look at a few things. For the most part, leave all of the options alone on these homepage sliders. They've been set up very specifically for format, font size. Everything is very structured to fit perfectly within your homepage. So for the most part, you want to leave these options as you find them. But note that if you do make changes, you add or remove slides, you're going to need to save the slide deck, which is found down at the bottom. And these are fairly large, so they can take sometimes a few minutes to actually update. This one was pretty quick. Now, on the reverse, let's take a look at how we might add a slide. And I'm actually going to add back in that same image that we just deleted, and we'll just remove that later. Now, you'll notice that you have these different slides that can be rearranged if you choose. You would just drag them over into place to switch them around, sort of like puzzle pieces that can be arranged as you would like. To add a slide, you'll notice that we just click on Add Slide and the features to upload a new image show up. Now notice you have, once you add slide, you've got several options. I can add an image slide. I could add a slide that's just simply nothing but text. Say I wanted to make an announcement or draw attention to a plant sale. I can add I can add a slide on the home page that will draw attention to that. I could include a video if I had one, or if I have some kind of HTML feature that's been designed, I could include that as well. These sliders are quite wonderful. They're very flexible and give you lots of options beyond the basic imagery that we're using. The images are lovely and they do a really good job, but you have lots more options if you choose. For this example, we're going to choose Image Slide. So I click on that button, and it's very wizard driven. It'll give me different options. We can browse an image. I'm going to go ahead and just pull in one that I know is large enough. As soon as my image has been selected, then I do need to upload it to the slide deck. So choose Upload, and you'll see the process indicator letting you know when it's complete. Now note, this file is 13 meg. That's actually quite large. You probably want to have something smaller, but because it's just an example, I haven't web optimized that image, but you may want to. While that's finishing uploading, note that I can have a caption on my pages or on my pictures. In the examples that you hear moving while this is uploading, you'll note that the caption is across the bottom, but I could actually have body text over on the right-hand side, or I can choose to have no caption at all. So let's just choose no caption for this particular one. If I want to, I can also choose to link the slide out to a feature. So if you had an image, say, of your plant sales, you could have a slide link that would take you out to a page with the detail of that sale, so someone can actually use that slider to get to your content. For now, I'm going to keep all the options just as they are and hit Apply, and this will add that new slider to my slide deck. And you'll note that I now have 7 slides, so I need to save the changes and save my slide deck. Now when I go to the home page, I'm going to refresh just to pick up the new changes. And just that easily, I'll have that new slider that we added on my slide deck. It's that easy to add the imagery to your home page. And we'll notice that now we also have 7 dots because we have 7 images and there's 1 dot per image. So if someone wanted to navigate quickly, they could just select the dot and get to that particular image.